Okay. Right. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the information session for your capstone design project. My name is Coleman Fang, and our guest speakers with us tonight are Professor Cameron Bedinan of APS 490 and Professors Sabine Weyand from BME 498. Okay, so what we'd like to do today is help answer a number of questions that you all must have at this point. What is the capstone course? Does this sound a bit distorted? Turn down the mic. Okay. So what is the capstone course? What choices do you have amongst the capstone courses? What is the process for the courses, both the application and the registration? How do I find a team, a project, a supervisor? What will make me successful at this course? Why do I want to be successful at this course? What resources are there? And what should I be doing, if anything, before September? So what is a capstone course? Well, you are going into your fourth year, and you've been spending years developing your technical knowledge, and we're now bringing it to a head with a full year, 2-term course. You're going to carry out a team project from its inception to completion, and the general goals of all our courses are basically the same. We're here to help you integrate your technical knowledge as well as your soft skills like team planning, be able to communicate your accomplishments and your ideas to others, develop your teamwork and project management skills in a more open-ended problem situation, and to gain practical experience, hopefully in an area that you're very interested in and would like to pursue further after you graduate. So in a nutshell, ECE students have 3 options this year. We have ECE496, your sort of department. This is the flagship course for ECE students. And then a few years back, we introduced a multidisciplinary capstone course, APS 490. And then most recently, there's now a biomedical engineering capstone course, BME 498. And so ECE 496 is really, it's within our department. So the students are electrical and computer engineering students, your classmates, and the supervisors are also from the department. This faculty-wide multidisciplinary capstone, you have students from the multiple departments, so civil, chemical, mechanical, and you have faculty-wide supervisors and subject matter experts. Going even outside of our faculty into other faculties is the biomedical engineering course, where you have students not only from engineering but also medicine and physiology. And the focus, of course, being a biomedical capstone, is on medical technology, but also on entrepreneurship, which Professor Weyand will talk more about. But I should put a caveat: this is small. A small course, much smaller than the others, so spaces are limited, okay? And so there's a priority to those who have the minor. Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to ask Professor Bedinan to talk about APS 190. And can you use the microphone?
Do you hear me? I think that everybody hears me. I think that...
Okay.
So good evening, and I'm going to talk briefly about the multidisciplinary capstone course. So Professor Fang already mentioned to you that what is a capstone and what is a multidisciplinary. So it's practically all students across the faculty-wide course students from different the disciplines programs, they get together to solve a real-life problem for external clients. So you can see that back in 2013 we launched the course. So you see that quite a big group of companies from various sectors, they came aboard. And that was the first year that we ran the course. We had about 17 projects, around 65 students, and ECE was a major part of that. Then back in 2014-15, the number of these companies started to grow. And you see that we have got companies from various sectors here, from aerospace, automotive, manufacturing, finance, health, what you name it over there. So it's all came together. We had 20 projects. The cap for this course is 20 projects. We don't go beyond that because it's very resource intensive. Students, 3 to 5 students, they work together to be able to do the job of one of these projects that we get it from these companies. So projects should have a real external client. And right now we are running this course with, I give you again, a very healthy group of sectors get together to give us these projects. And currently we have 19 projects, which is very close to 20. So we got actually that close. Actually, I received about 25 of them, but we were able to fill 19 of those projects. We have got 17 clients, external companies, 19 faculty supervisors, and 96 students registered in the course. And it's coming, and electrical and computer engineering is a big part of that. It's about 20 to 25 students are from ECE right now in this course. And everybody is involved. So it's across the faculty. All the programs in this faculty, one way or other, students from those are involved with these projects. So again, I mentioned to you, 3 to 5 students normally get involved. We have a structure around this course. So it's not just me running the course. I'm coordinating the course, but we have got the capstone coordinators from various programs that we get together as a governing body of this course, and we overall monitor and oversee the operation of this course. So you see we have a representative from all engineering programs within the faculty there. So there's a committee there. So what is this? Professor Fang mentioned it's a design is open-ended, but it should be multidisciplinary in nature. So the project should require multiple disciplines to be able to collaborate. We need more than 2 disciplines to call it multiple disciplines. 2 or more than that. So it is a design, so it should be 100. It's not research-based or something like that. It's not like your thesis. So it's design, and you go through the process of design to be able to find a solution for that problem. So we require the use of knowledge and skills from various disciplines. Other relative pertinent factors like environment, safety, the social aspects, and economy come into place, affecting the design, the solution that you provide. But I want to mention about number 3, element of teamwork. Teamwork is an essential part of this course, 3 to 5. Project management and client interaction. These are the key components of this course. Success in this project requires effective and way of handling this part of the project. And at the end of the day, you have a proof of concept, some sort of a proof of concept. We like a physical prototype, but if it sometimes on a financial sector, simulation and so on, so we understand that. Some sort of proof of concept. So what makes it unique is client-driven. It is multidisciplinary in nature, which is a real-life scenario. You know that when you get out of this door, when you graduate, everything that you see in a real scenario is a multidisciplinary. You have to be able to effectively communicate with other engineers in various disciplines. And that course actually provides some sort of experience in that line. We have a subject matter expert. You have a single supervisor, but you are going to have other people who can help you to address your concern or questions regarding the technical aspects or other aspects of the course. And the faculty resources are available to you to be able to do the job at the end of the day. So those are the participants are the logistics in the office of the course. So I'm the course coordinator. We have a course assistant. We have department representative, that committee, the names that I showed it to you. We have client, supervisor, and subject matter expert. So that's exactly what comes together. Plus, ECP is going to be involved with that. On the communication aspects of that, you get guidance from the communication program of the faculty. These projects are real. Some of these projects requires NDA, non-disclosure agreement or IP agreement. And you need to sign off on that before you start the project. So that's a key element of that. And that shows how important, significant is this project for the clients. I would like to mention about the dates here. We are getting all the projects. This year we are pushing a little bit ahead. I met all these clients back in November. They know that we are getting all the projects by the end of this month. In fact, I received about half of a dozen of these projects. Half of these. Normally I want about 25. I already got half of them. By the end of this month, we get all of them. And if we are missing one or two, we just chase them and push them. But sometimes PY students also bring projects to us. In fact, right now I have a project coming from a company that wants electrical engineering is a micro manipulator for certain surgical applications. And we need electrical engineering with a mechanical engineering to be able to do that job, with the electronics background to do the job. So that is a PY student. The client contacted me, and we provide that. So if you are in a PY, I believe that some of you maybe, do we have PY students here? Yeah. So you can really bring that project to us, but it should be approved. We have an approval process. It's not just given. There is a special form, and Professor Fang is going to provide you with the contact information of that person in the office. You contact, there is a form that you fill, the client fills, signed up on that. We have to approve it, and then we do student matching. The good thing about PY, if you bring the project, the good thing is that you can sometimes find some of your peers, friends here and there to be able from different departments to work together. And of course, it requires again our approval, but we normally accommodate that. And it has been successful in the past. We have RBC projects that the students, they brought it with the engineering science division of the finance division of the engineering science. We were able to match it up. And in fact, we had electrical industrial engineering students to work on that project. So orientation, we are doing the orientation right now. You see, we do that for all other programs this month, the month of February. Team formation. For you guys, these are highly competitive. You need to get on board as soon as the project is released. So we have a course blackboard. That course blackboard is going to be effective very soon. I do have a brochure we have a course guide from last year that we posted over there. The only thing that normally changes in that course guide is mainly the dates. And also we have a brochure of the booklet of the project from last year. And that you can see some of the examples. I have some examples, but because of the limitation on time, I was asked not to show it to you. So, but we have a very nice, about 20 of these projects is a brochure. Go to the course blackboard. You are going to receive an email. And Professor Fang is going to be the contact. He's going to send you all the news, all the information, all the updates about this course and so on. So point of contact here. If you have questions about overall the technical aspects of the course, you can talk to me. If you want to know a little bit about logistics, talk to the office. We have a office email, and we have a website, by the way, on that front. We will send you the website when this email is going to, and you can get a lot of information from the website of the course. Sign up the NDA. As soon as we start the project, the student matching is done, we do the signing of the NDA with you guys. And kickoff meeting is going to be the first Thursday as soon as school starts. And we have a big kickoff meeting. I want to tell you that this is we have a very successful experience with this course. And that's why it pushed us to move it to the master level. I just was talking to Professor Fang. Practically, right now at the master level also, we have a multidisciplinary MH project also. So it's quite successful. I encourage you to apply for these projects. And if you have any questions, you can ask us about that. So I would like to open the floor for a couple of questions, few questions. Yes?
For signing NDAs, I noticed that that's before team formation. So is it assumed that you know what your team is?
Sign NDA with the company, not with the student. This NDA is normally when we get the project, because we are pushing the project to come in by the end of January. I want to clear that with the clients. Because some clients, they come with a very weird type of NDA. We do have a template for the NDA. We normally provide, but some companies, they already have something there. We need to look into those NDAs. And the only problem normally, IP and NDA really belongs to these clients. Because it's education. It's not really research type of thing. But sometimes they come with a 10-year term of NDA. 10 years, nobody knows who is where. So I normally will bring it to 2 year, 3 year at the most that we don't disclose the information. After that, you are after. So those are kind of the things. Yeah.
Okay, I think we better
stop here.
And we'll follow up with questions.
Okay.
I'll follow up with questions later.
So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Professor Benjamin. Okay. And up next, I'd like to ask Professor Raylan to talk about BME 498.
All right, so I briefly want to introduce you to BME 498, which is a biomedical engineering capstone design course, which you are all eligible to take as of this year. So this course is a bit unique in two ways. And the first way is the fact that we use students from engineering, as well as we have medical students and physiology students as part of our team. We are completely focused on medical technology innovation. Most of them are in the clinical setting, but not necessarily, but they all have to be medical projects. And finally, our course is a design and entrepreneurship course. So contrary to what you just heard, we sometimes make our advisors sign NDAs, and we own all the IP to what you make. So we put a big emphasis on entrepreneurship as part of this course. In terms of the overview of the course, we follow the Stanford bioengineering model, which has been made famous by the researchers there, and they've actually had a bunch of successful startups come out of their course. And it consists of three main stages, which is, first of all, identifying your need, then inventing a solution, and implementing that solution. So the first semester of the course, September to December, is actually solely spent on identifying the need. So this involves going into the clinical settings and finding a whole bunch of problems. So this year we had a really great collaboration with Sick Kids. So all of our groups did a variety of observations and interviews with ORs. So they went to the OR and watched a bunch of operations and found a whole bunch of problems, everything from communication issues to issues with tools. They did some shadowing of emergency room doctors. We had one group follow around a neonatologist for a couple days to find problems in the NICU. We had one group that was really interested in hospital efficiency, so they were able to shadow a bed coordinator and interview some people more on the administrative side. So the whole first semester is identifying a need. And the reason being is you do not get a client. We do not give you a project. You have to find a problem yourself. Once you find a whole bunch, and it's usually close to 100 problems, you then choose your project. And so that involves, based on things such as market analysis, because we are entrepreneurial, so we want to make some money out of these potentially, the ideas. You do stakeholder analysis. You take an approach where we want you to fail quickly and fail fast. And so we want you to move on from one need to the next if that need isn't going to be solvable. So once you select your need that you're going to focus on, you spend the second half of the year, so January to April, doing both inventing and implementing. So this includes doing some rapid prototyping, figuring out if you have any IP, looking at regulatory analysis, since we are in the medical field, that's a big section. Also reimbursement analysis comes into play here. So that's kind of the overall course outline. In terms of team formation, we actually form teams in the first 2 weeks of class. And so the reason being is we're not choosing a specific project, you are choosing your teammates. So at the very beginning, we actually have a networking event where you present about yourself. You talk about your passions, the type of areas you want to work in, what in medicine interests you, and then you talk about your skills. And we make teams that are between 2 and 4 individuals usually, based primarily on passion and secondarily on your skills. In terms of types of needs that have been taken on in this course. So the course in general is fairly new. This is the first year that ECE students will be able to join the course. But so this year, we have one group which is looking at a way to address the lack of family involvement in rehabilitation of stroke patients in order to increase the amount of exercise they receive. And so they selected this need after doing all their research, and now they are partnering with different advisors through Sick Kids, through Toronto Rehab, through Holland Bloorview, and they're trying to tackle this problem. Another example is looking at the lengthy time it takes to change tools in robotic surgery. So this team is very focused on improving the Da Vinci robot. Some of you might have heard of it if you're into medical devices. And they want to make the tools, interchanging tools in the middle of a surgery faster. And so we have them connected with a couple surgeons who use the Da Vinci, and they're using them as kind of advisors. So you'll notice, even once these teams choose a project, they still don't have a client. They are working as an entrepreneurial team, but they pull in advisors who are experts in the field. A need tackled last year's class was a way to harvest the patellar tendon for an ACL reconstructive surgery. And so this was a group of 3 students, and actually one of them has gone on to take this into an accelerator with U of T, so they're still working on this project post-graduation. In terms of things that make our course unique, definitely our partnerships with Sick Kids, which is called Hammers and Nails, is very unique. It's probably one of the only courses in undergrad, maybe even in Canada, that lets you go into the operating room and watch surgeries performed on live patients, which is also, though, one of the reasons why we have a cap to the course, because setting up these opportunities, we do have to limit the numbers in the class. We also have a newly opened design studio that is used for this course, and so you have full access to anything in the design studio as well as a small budget within your team. So we have 3D printers and a bunch of other equipment in there. The one other thing I should mention at this point is, since we're not client-driven, we do have a heavier focus on lectures, because there is a lot of things that need to be taught in terms of how to find needs and how to screen needs and how to do the different types of market analysis and lean startup type entrepreneurial things. So we do have 2 lectures a week throughout both the fall and winter semester. So it is more lecture heavy than most of the other capstones. And that's purely due to the fact that you don't actually have an advisor. Your team is kind of on your own. So who is eligible? Anybody who's taking the biomedical engineering minor, so any ECE student who's taking the biomedical engineering minor, is guaranteed admission to the course. So if that's you, all you would have to do is email Brittany Lawrence, and you would be guaranteed a spot. In terms of any other ECE students who aren't in the minor but are interested in biomedical engineering and would like to take this capstone, we do have some spots available, and it'll be a first-come, first-served basis. And once again, you would just contact Brittany Lawrence, and it'll depend on how many of our minor students sign up for this course versus doing thesis. So these are kind of the 2 main contacts. So Brittany Lawrence is your go-to for anything administrative. If you have concerns about how it's going to fit in your schedule or anything like that, you can email her. Any questions about the course? I am one of 2 instructors for the course this year, and I will be next year as well, so feel free to email me. I'd be happy to talk to you some more about it. Didn't have too much time right now to talk about it, but yeah.
So are there time for a quick question or 2?
Yeah.
Just wondering, this course only has the 2nd semester for the project invention and implementation.
Yeah.
How does that affect, I guess, the amount of experience people get in the actual implementation stage compared to regular capstone?
Yeah, so great question. So the question was, we only use the 2nd semester to actually design, invent, and implement, and how does that affect the amount of experience you get? So the one thing that I would say is the fact that doing need research is actually 75% of the battle usually in terms of designing a solution. So you already do a lot of the legwork in the first semester when you're screening your needs and selecting your need, and you really are already thinking of designs and solutions, because that's one of the things that's going to go into whether you choose need number 5 or need number 25. So I don't think we really lose out. By the end of the semester, you are required to have some type of prototype You don't necessarily need a working solution, and the reason being that we also put a lot of emphasis on giving you choice about what type of project you want in this course. One option is you develop a project, it's completely finished, you try to file for IP at the end with U of T IP office, or you try to sell it to the hospital or sell it to a company. The other option is you get a start of a prototype and you want to take this forward through an accelerator or through angel investors and actually work on a more long-term, bigger project. So I think that we provide a lot more options in terms of giving you the power to choose what type of project you want. And if you are concerned about it getting more hands-on skills, you can always shorten your need finding and need selection. But I think that having that extended period doesn't really dampen your experience in terms of what you'll actually be able to create. Any other questions?
Well, do you have the contact information?
Yeah.
And I summarized that at the end of the slides.
Perfect.
As well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Rand. Thank you. Okay, everyone, so maybe I thought just to recap, so you have the three options, ECE496, APS 490, and BME 498. Fourth, the choice with 496, it's usually teams of 3 to 4, or sometimes minimum, it should be minimum of 2. Then you find the project and supervisor, and you register online, so I'll go over that more. With 490, you have clients that and projects that are available and which you're assigned to, and you have to apply to the course, and the team and the supervisor are also assigned. And for 498, there is no client per se. You define the problem and select the project in the first semester, and then you developed it further in the second semester. Okay, so wanted to have the other options discussed first. So now moving on to ECE 496 proper. That's what most of you will be taking. So here you have the freedom to propose the project, and you'll carry out to the completion. So this is pretty much this course is probably the heaviest in terms of technical content. It allows you to get started right from the beginning, especially if you've already formed the idea over the summer. You can get working on it immediately. And I've already talked about the 4 goals. And this is really your chance to show your abilities to take all the things that you've learned and apply them to a real problem. So the basic process is you're going to first form a team, and then you're going to, as a team, find a supervisor, work together with the supervisor going back and forth to define a problem. You may look at some of the, I highly recommend you take a look at the projects from this year. I'll talk more about that at the design fair that's happening in late March. And then you'll decide on a project and then register that online. And then you're then part of ECE 496. When you're working on the project, your project has both a supervisor and an administrator. So your supervisor is focusing on the technical details. And oftentimes they will define a problem for you. They know the area, they're experts in their area of research, so they can give you suggestions on what might be a very innovative project and provide you with the resources. Your administrator is focused more on the process that you are taking. And the process is just as important as the goal. So, if you think about a camping trip, for instance, the goal would be your destination, where you want to go. And so you really want to choose some place that's very exciting, some place that you haven't seen before that intrigues you. But then just as important in a camping trip is the preparation, the process. What are you bringing? How are you taking it? How are you going to make sure that you're not lost? And if you are lost, how are you going to deal with that as well? So both are important, and so both of them will support you as you work through the design project. And as well, of course, there's also the engineering communication program staff for helping you with the presentations and the communication aspects. Okay, so where do these projects come from? You can select projects by end of March. We're gathering the projects now, and we will be listing them on our course website at the end of March, just before the design fair. Many students also go to the supervisor to propose a project. Sometimes it's a hybrid. You might be looking at the projects they have this year and find some sort of derivative of that and propose it to the professor. And the process is usually just identifying some potential supervisors, going to see them with the team, discussing areas of interest, and then coming up with something that everyone agrees with. Okay. As you work through, this is a process. So the earlier you start, the easier it is for you to modify and to sort of refine your concept of what you want to do and to make it practical. So some projects have radically changed before the proposal. Some may even change afterwards, but that's not ideal. Okay, so why do well in it? Well, really, this is a showcase of your abilities of how to apply what you've learned in the past few years. It's one of the few opportunities that you'll have to work closely with a faculty member, an expert in the field. It makes for an important reference for your early career. It allows you to develop experience in an area that you're interested in. And yes, in the job search, one of the most common questions you will be asked is, what did you do for your design project? Tell me something about the challenges you faced and how you overcame them. So this is the one thing, more than any other course, that will differentiate you from your classmates and from graduates of other schools, what you managed to accomplish. Okay, so that's why should you get started early? You have time now. It's a long process. And the first key process is finding a team, forming a team, and then finding out what they're interested in so that you can move on in the same direction and find a project. It takes time to contact people, especially supervisors, as you'll find they're very busy people. And you're going to have to be focused and be persistent to contact them. They often take some time to respond. And every supervisor, every faculty member has really only a requirement to supervise 6 students. So that's 2 teams of 3. So that's really not a lot. And after that, they're in their right to say that, I'm sorry, I can't take on any more students. Okay, so the good supervisors do go fast. Okay, and you do want to sign up. We have to encourage everyone, a 1% bonus mark if you register by August 1st. So here's, in a nutshell, the basic schedule. You begin this is what you've learned in APS 111 and 112, and you're going to apply this, but now you have the technical expertise that you didn't have when you just started off in first year. So you're going to start with a design goal, developing a project proposal, thinking about the system requirements, the goal and the requirements. And then after coming up with the proposal, you'll have a design review where you vet out all the issues, and your administrator and supervisor will point out areas of concern and things that you need to focus on in finalizing your project proposal. And then from then, you'll be moving on to the design and test of the modules. And that takes you into the spring semester. And there'll be oral presentations. So the only tutorials that you have are the oral presentation. So you have one evening where you're doing a practice run and one evening where you're doing your grading. Okay, there's no other tutorials. And there's just a few lectures in the fall. So it's relatively light in terms of course class time. We do that so that you have more time to speak with your supervisor and actually work on the project. The final report and then the design fair happen at the end of March and April. And just as Professor Wayan mentioned, the idea in this early phase is to fail fast and fail quickly, so that you try out an idea, a little proof of concept, and you realize that whether it's working or not, and if it doesn't work, then you move on to another idea. So even though there's no deliverable here other than the written report, a lot of the decisions that go behind it actually involve you to do some design, preliminary design, and feasibility analysis. Okay? Once you have your project, then just follow this process. And the two key points about it is, as you're developing your design, think about how you're going to verify. So think about proof at every step. Does your module work? How can you prove that it works? What are the tests? How are you going to document your results in your design as proof that you've done it and that it's complete? And in the end goal, the destination is the design fair. So I started off this lecture with some clips from the 2014 design fair, because that's what you want to start with. Have a goal in mind, but then break down into a workable process. And so this process is iterative. You may come up with an initial goal and try and develop some requirements. You've done this in APS 111, 112, and you realize often that as you start to define requirements and functions, it may go back and influence your actual goal. And then when you try to look at the design alternatives, this is where I'm talking about failing fast. A quick proof of concept, you find that it's not feasible. Well, that's going to run in and affect your requirements, and maybe even the goal statement. And then as you start to work on the design, the proposal, that's going to influence your design. It'll also influence the requirements. And so you continue to refine your requirements, and we keep what we call a test document throughout the whole year. And what we hope to do is, having followed this process, you hopefully will avoid the times where you come towards the end implementation and you find that your initial goal is impractical. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's a step, and verification is important. It's crucial at every step. Okay, and then every step also, the keeping a track record, so proof. We want you to have an engineering notebook to keep your information. It's so easy these days to take a snapshot, screenshot of something, capture the code, keep a version, and be prepared to talk about and analyze your results. So you have a credible argument about why your project or your module, your design indeed works. Okay, the design fair this year is March 29th to April 1st. The first 3 days, it's in the evening, and then the last day, it's a showcase that's in the afternoon. There's a poster presentation and demonstration, and I highly encourage you to attend and to use that to give you ideas for your project. The website is, the URL is here. That's your main source of information. You'll find general information about the course, the projects, and the supervisors that will post and list later, how to register for the team, and that's interesting. The schedules, the deliverables, deadlines, the awards, and other information. Your key resource, hardware resource, is the Design Center downstairs in the basement of Sanford Fleming. And it's a whole, you've all been there, so for your other courses. So there's no courses scheduled. It's the one lab that's always open for you to utilize, and there are lockers there for you to use. Okay, common question, especially a show of hands, how many are on PEY, are planning to go on PEY? Okay, yes. How many are returning from PEY? Okay, very good. It's good to see you all. So for those of you who are intending to go on PEY right now, if you've enrolled for 2016-2017, to prevent confusion, you are not allowed to register for the design project. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't be thinking about it, because you might decide not to go on PEY, but you cannot officially register. And we do that so that there's not teams being formed and then people going off to work. It's just a lot of confusion. So in order to officially register for a project, you need to withdraw from PEY. And so at some point in the summer, those of you who haven't had a placement, you have to decide, at what point do you decide, okay, I'm going to just come back for fourth year, or I'm going to stick it out and continue to wait, and maybe the placement will come. So that's your decision. But you must finally decide before you can come into 496. Once you've done the registration, so you found your team members, you found your project supervisor, and you've officially registered, then you cannot make further changes. So this is a decision, it's a commitment on your part. And so you want to think about your options before you finally decide. And that's why we don't open it up immediately, because you want to wait until at least a design fair, so you have a chance to see what's currently out there before you make a decision, both about the supervisor and your team. Okay, so looking ahead, in the coming, from now to September, I will continue to update you regarding the other courses about their application and information. Just before the design fair, we'll open up the project listings and the online registration site. And then in August 1st, if you register by then you'll receive the early bonus registration. Okay? So, in summary, after this, I'd like to do something, get you all started in the team forming. So I'd like to stick around for that. But just to summarize what we've talked about here, I've tried to record this for those who could not attend today. Your three options, we talked about the three options, three courses that you have to choose from. Encouraging you to start now, and reminding you that this capstone project will have a significant effect on your search for work and graduate education. And more information to follow. Your resources and your contacts for the three courses are listed over here. The contact information, anything you send to Ask496 will go to me, as well as Karen Irvin down in the undergraduate office. And Don and Liu is your contact for APS 490, and Brittany Lawrence is your administrative contact for 498.